Okay, so today I want to propose to you a hypothetical situation. Imagine you are a child. Not a spoiled brat child, just a kid. And a parent walks up to you and says, "Hey, how would you like pizza tonight for dinner?" And you're like, "Okay, that sounds great. It's been a while since I've had pizza." And so you're anticipating it, you're getting excited for pizza for dinner tonight. And then when you sit down for dinner, instead of getting pizza, your parents bring you a bacon cheeseburger with fries on the side. Regardless of how nice the bacon cheeseburger with fries on the side is, you're going to be a little disappointed that you didn't get pizza. This is what is known as a bait and switch. And this is a symptom of a much larger problem with the state of Hollywood, and more specifically, people at Disney. This is kind of going to be my review of Obi-Wan Kenobi, even though the show's not over. There's still 2 episodes to go at point of this filming. And yes, the last 2 episodes could be incredible. I'm not saying that that's impossible. I just think it's unlikely. And quite frankly, I'm not counting on it due to the track record of the first 4 episodes. I'm going to get into some of the reasons why I'm not entirely happy with the series, but then I'm going to get into the bulk of the situation, that is the bait and switch and the complete nonsense that Disney is attempting to do to force people to like this show, even if there's good reason not to like it. So I'm going to get into it.
You can't escape him!
Okay, so honestly, my biggest gripe with the show is not production value, it's not even casting, it's just the writing. If the writing was just 20% better, this probably would be a pretty entertaining show. And it's unfortunate because that's really like my biggest issue with this. The sets are okay. I like some of the city locations. I like how some of the clothing is handled. The wardrobe's great. It's just, yeah, the writing. The writing is the biggest issue. And it's not even just dialogue writing, but like situation writing as well. Case in point, there's literally a situation where someone does a bitch slap on a stormtrooper, knocking him out. Now, this person isn't one. If you've ever seen these, there's this sport in Russia with these huge guys. They are like the size of the mountain from Game of Thrones, with these giant burly arms. And this sport is basically, they will take turns full out sledgehammer bitch slapping each other until someone goes unconscious, okay? And there are literally professional, like, heavyweight champions in this sport. That's not what this slap was. This slap was like a very limp-wristed, pathetic slap that someone does on a stormtrooper, hitting their helmet, and they just fall down. Like, literally, wearing a plastic helmet, getting slapped, you're not going to be knocked out. I'm sorry. It's like virtually impossible. So getting slapped with a helmet that's supposed to be like this space age super polycarbonate, like it can stop a laser round type of helmet, it's absolutely ridiculous. And there's all kinds of little tiny things like that that just do not work in the writing. But let's go to the dialogue. Okay, you could have a story with terrible situational writing but incredible dialogue, okay? I've seen it happen. It's rare, but I've seen it happen. But no, the dialogue in this show is atrocious. Case in point, there's the same episode 4. Obi-Wan Kenobi is at this like rebel base before they were rebels, and he's like, look, I need to get to this Imperial place, and the head of the base is like, no, I'm not going to help you, alright, it's too big of a risk. And Obi-Wan Kenobi says, you don't know what it's like to lose someone. And the commander turns around and says, I know what it's like to lose someone. I lost my wife, so I'll help you. What? Like, how did you get to that? Like, it is so stupid and lame. There is so many stupid things about the writing in this show. But, I mean, just so much of the show doesn't work. And, like, there were elements I could really get into. Like, case in point, Obi-Wan Kenobi, like, being, like, spiritually broken after the events of the third film. I saw that as being a potentially interesting aspect, but they went way too far. They basically make him an imbecile. They make him completely useless. I mean, like, he can't use the Force at all. It is so stupid. It's like, he was fine at the end of the third one, and now it's just like, oh, I can't use the Force. I'm just too weak. Like, why? And like he's always doing these stupid ass things that like he would have never done in the prequel trilogy, and he's always having to get saved by other characters. It's like, why are you even here? Okay, like, you're literally being completely useless. There's a couple of scenes that I really enjoyed. Case in point, even though it's canonically doesn't work, the scene when he finds out that Anakin is like still alive, I thought was really interesting. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, no, if you go back, you would have seen that he would have already known that he was alive. And this gets to another issue I have, is that like the writers, they apparently didn't bother looking at episode 3 or episode 4 before writing the story. Come here, Yoshi. I'm sorry, Yoshi. I had to do that. I am so fucking sick of these pompous, amateur, prick asshole writers in Hollywood claiming, I don't need to read the source material. I'm such a good writer. I'm so perfect. I don't need to read any of that shitty source material. You didn't have to read any comic books. You didn't have to watch any cartoons. You didn't have to go through any video games. You just had to watch 2 fucking movies. And they couldn't even do that. Okay, I am just... Good gosh. Why the fuck would Disney or Kathleen Kennedy hire writers that won't even fucking watch the previous or latter movie that takes place in between this show? What is wrong with these people? Seriously, what is wrong with them? I mean, logically, if I was to have a company that made movies and I got the rights of a popular IP and I had someone writing the screenplay, I would say, look, I'm not greenlighting anything you give to me unless you actually have studied all the source material to this very huge IP we are trying to bring to the silver screen. But that's something a logical producer would do, not one of these idiots in Hollywood. Hey, did you watch episode 3 or episode 4 before writing this? Nope. It'll be fine. But let's not forget that apparently I'm the biggest bigot in the world, because according to Disney, if you don't like this show, you're a bigot. Yeah, if you actually believe that, you need to go back to grade school. Okay? Because I have a hard to swallow pill for you to swallow. okay? And that is, you cannot like a piece of entertainment and also not be racist or sexist or whatever title you want to throw in there. And there, literally, this gets me to the whole bait and switch aspect of this show, because while this show is called Obi-Wan Kenobi, mark my words, this show is not about Obi-Wan Kenobi. He is a glorified supporting character in this show. That is it. Yes, he gets a lot of scenes, but he is not the heart and soul of the show. He is not the main character of this show. The heart and soul of this show is Leia, Princess Leia, and the main character is Reva. She is the star of this show. And quite honestly, objectively, yes, I like the idea of a Star Wars series following a Sith Inquisitor as they're hunting one of the last Jedi Masters. It's a great concept. Why Disney didn't freaking lead off with that, I do not know. Okay? It's like, you should have just said, hey guys, next year we're coming out with a new series called Star Wars Inquisitor, and it's going to follow this new character called Reva as she's hunting Obi-Wan Kenobi. And fans would have been like, okay, that sounds cool. We're going to, like, is Ewan McGregor coming back? And it's like, yes, Ewan McGregor is coming back. It's like, awesome, this is cool. But no, instead, Disney decided to go, hey, we're doing an Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and it's going to be entirely focused on Obi-Wan Kenobi, and people just lost their collective minds, because it's like, oh my gosh, we're seeing Obi-Wan Kenobi again! And they were not expecting them to completely destruct the character of Obi-Wan Kenobi in this show. I don't know, maybe he'll come back and be Obi-Wan Kenobi again, but, I mean, like, seriously, why did you not lead off with just, yeah, this show is about Reva, or Reva, but the thing is, Disney had no faith in this character. That's why this isn't called Star Wars Inquisitor, or the Inquisitors, or the Inquisition, and that's why they didn't lead off with Reva in their marketing, because they had no faith in this character. They thought, yeah, people probably aren't going to like this character, so, let's just, let's say this is about Obi-Wan Kenobi, and, yeah, then we'll just kind of, like, squeeze it in. And it's like, well, once people see that, you know, they're not going to like it. It's like, but we have a solution to that. We're going to call all those people bigots. And that leads to probably the most pathetic thing I have been seeing coming out of Hollywood recently, is when a movie or a property or a show doesn't do well, the creator or creators automatically pivot to, well, the reason why this isn't well liked is because the entire fan base is bigoted. The entire fan base is sexist. The entire fan base is racist. And, okay, let's say all these assholes are right. They aren't, but let's just be humorous here. Let's say they're alright, and let's say the entire Star Wars fan base is racist, sexist, homophobic, name whatever ismphobe you want there. Okay, let's say that's true. Why the fuck is Disney making new content in this IP? If the entire fan base are bigots, why? Why would you make any more content in that? Or, I have an alternate suggestion, alternate hypothesis for you. What if you have a couple of creators that made a piece of shit, and they're trying to force people to not criticize it by calling them vile, disgusting names? So, in one hand, you have the entire fan base is bigoted, or you have a couple of creators that don't want to accept that they made a piece of shit. Which one seems more realistically plausible? Okay? I mean, this happens so much in Hollywood now. It is so pathetic, and it's taking away from actual instances of sexism, racism, homophobia, because with all these Hollywood creatives like constantly accusing fans of all these horrendous things, when something like that actually happens, people are just like, yeah, it's probably bullshit. I mean, they're just making it less horrifying. Because, like, honestly, I've talked to a lot of Star Wars fans, okay? Yes, there are racists out there. Yes, there are sexists out there. Yes, there are bigots out there, okay? I'm not going to be naive and say they don't exist. But the vast majority of Star Wars fans are none of those, okay? Case in point. Everyone loves to say that, oh, if you don't like Reva, you're a racist, and you should resist anyone who criticizes Reva. Alright? For those people who are saying that and fighting for that argument, I haven't heard a single person make one criticism about Moff Gideon from The Mandalorian. You know, this original black character that they introduced in The Mandalorian that everyone likes, that everything I'm hearing about season 3 of Mandalorian is, oh gee, I hope they get the same actor back for Moff Gideon because that was a good combination. Gee, that's a really racist fan base, don't you think? I mean, you cannot like an actor's performance and still not be a bigot, okay? It is possible. It's not out of the realm of possibility. You cannot like someone's acting and still not be a bigot, because that's just how liking or not liking something works. But according to the people who make this, if you have any criticisms of Reva whatsoever, you're the worst bigot of all. That is their logic, and they preemptively started doing this by saying they had to warn Moses Ingram of all the bigotry and the hatred in the Star Wars fandom. And it's like, did you warn the actor who played Moff Gideon? I don't remember seeing any articles like that. Maybe you were just preemptively wanting to call people bigots when they started criticizing the shitty writing on this show. And the writing is very bad on this show. As for Moses Ingram, I don't particularly hate her character. I think if they had developed Reva a little bit differently, she would be a fan favorite. And I don't think she's the worst actress in the world. I just think she kind of slaughtered some of her lines, and maybe in a couple years she'll be a lot better at the craft, okay? But apparently, because I have some criticisms of her, I'm a bigot, which is so ridiculous, okay? And there's even morons in Lucasfilms that have been saying, oh yeah, the series has always been super white and racist, and there's never been any good black characters. It's like Moff Gideon, Lando Calrissian, Finn FN-127. I think it's FN-127. I mean, like, good gosh, there was Mace fucking Windu, Samuel L. Jackson. Okay, but no, apparently this is the most racist series in the universe. And it's just like, you cannot like an actor's performance and still not be a racist. That's all I'm saying. And it's ridiculous that people still try to use this argument for movies. And I am so sick and tired of Hollywood trying to use this argument to justify why their content is crap. Okay? Maybe just write a better story and you don't have to use that pathetic excuse. Okay? Oh, gee. If we were so racist, why did Black Panther make $1 billion? Okay? Literally, a freaking $1 billion. Alright? And so, I like the idea of Reva. I like the idea of this female Inquisitor going after Obi-Wan Kenobi. What I don't like is being told I'm getting pizza and then being given a bacon cheeseburger with fries. I like bacon cheeseburger with fries, but I want to get what I'm told I'm going to get. And Disney should have given us pizza, or at the very least told us, hey, you're getting bacon cheeseburger with fries. At the very least, we would have been like, okay, I could eat a bacon cheeseburger and fries. But no, Disney had absolutely no faith in this character. They thought, yeah, the writing's not that strong, and so let's just preemptively try to guilt people into liking this character. And then rumors are coming out that they've greenlit a Reva-focused series. It's like, she already has a focused series, okay? It's called Obi-Wan Kenobi. You just have to change the title, and you got it. So, just... Is the Andor series going to be about Cassian Andor, or is it going to actually be about someone else? Is the Ahsoka Tano series going to actually be about Ahsoka, or are we going to actually be following a narrow character and she's just going to be a glorified side secondary character? Do you see my criticism of this show? Okay, it's not that there's too much diversity in my show. No, it's not that. There's always been diversity in Star Wars. Stop using that stupid argument. Okay, my argument is they're telling me they're going to give me one thing and they're giving me something else. Okay, give me the fucking thing you told me you're going to get, or tell me what I'm actually going to get. That's all I want. That's all I'm asking for. And maybe instead of using the stupid argument that the fan base is so racist, maybe just make sure the story's decent before you release it. Okay? That's all I'm asking for. Okay? You could have had Reva. You could have had all the same characters. Just make the writing a little bit less shitty. That would have made this series amazing. But no. They decided to throw a shitty writer in, probably because he was a yes man, or they were yes men that would say yes to anything the producers wanted. And so it's like, yeah, as long as they say yes to us all the time, we don't care about the quality of the writing. And that is probably why the quality of writing has dropped so severely with all these recent Star Wars projects. Okay? As much as I did like elements of Boba Fett, there were elements of it that really fucking sucked. Like the street kids on Vespas. Okay? But the reason why they allowed that was because the writers were probably people who always said yes to the producers. And these producers need to start realizing that they need to be willing to not get their way to allow good writing in. Alright? All you need to do is just... I'm rambling now. I need to stop. And yeah, so basically, Obi-Wan Kenobi looks good. And it sounds good, but the writing is crap. That is my biggest criticism. And also my criticism of Hollywood trying to accuse anyone who criticizes this of bigotry, which they're the biggest hypocrites in the world, because in China they'll remove any black actor from the posters because other countries are racist. Okay, and they'll fight for LGBT rights in this country with a passion, but in other countries it's like, oh yeah, we'll remove that scene for you, no problem. And it's just like, why are you fighting for so hard here and not fighting for it in other countries? Like, seriously, why are you guys being the biggest hypocrites of all? So, you know what? That's my take on the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. I'm starting to get tired of the Star Wars series, and if they keep going this route, it's going to be just like Marvel, where I'm just going to walk away from it. Because Marvel, I have not enjoyed since for a while. Like, the only thing I've enjoyed in Phase 4 really was Shang-Chi and Spider-Man No Way Home. And so, yeah, that's just, I'm getting so sick and tired of Disney. It is ridiculous. So, before I go, please don't forget to, do the thing. It helps me get out past the algorithm that's not pulling me out there. And so, my name's Christopher Kaw with 11 Hour Reviews, and that will be all.